Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya-kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So the prayers we are doing in the beginning, Shruti, Smriti, etc. In time, you will also learn it if you don't know. So I will teach that along the way. So maybe I will type it out or something and share it on the screen and send you the document. So you can also chant it by looking at it, etc. So we will learn that. So we were studying the topic of Purusharthas, and in particular, last class we entered the topic of moksha. We were beginning to understand it, and we saw that we defined moksha based on dharmartha kama, based on our understanding of dharmartha and kama. So we said that moksha is freedom from insecurity and freedom from being displeased. This is how we define moksha, negatively defined, so to speak. We said it is a journey of going from self non-acceptance to self-acceptance. So accepting myself regardless of the situation. Seems very difficult, but that is how moksha is defined. So if you notice, moksha is not defined as, or it was not defined as, going to some place like Swarga, heaven. It's not defined as going to Vaikunta, going to Kailasa. It's not defined as after death I will go somewhere, I will be with God. So these are all common things that we hear. There is some beauty to all of that, because all these ideas come because we have assumed, I suppose, that the so-called Happiness is not possible in earth. In this life, I may be happy now and then, but lasting happiness, I've not seen anybody. Nobody talks about anybody who says, this fellow is always happy, regardless of what happens. Having food, not having food, fellow is happy. Having sleep, not having sleep. Look at the sleep deprived person. So I was traveling last 2 3 days. So one night we reached our native place at 4:30 in the morning by driving in car, and we were supposed to get up at 6:30, have breakfast at 7:15, and start driving to our temple at 8 o'clock. I could not get up at 6:30. 4:30 you go, and then I closed my eyes, and my brother was trying to wake me up. I said, just let me go. I can't get up now. So we have not met such a person. So we concluded, यहाँ पर तो आनंद नहीं होगा. This moksha business is not possible on this earth. We have to go somewhere, and we are ready to believe anybody who is promising some nice thing after death. Obviously, it is after death because we are not seen anybody saying, Tata, I will go to heaven and then I'll come back and report to you everything. That also we have not seen, we have not heard. And so we are ready to believe that this moksha business, it has to be somewhere there. And we are ready to say namaste. Somebody asks us, where is God? We all look up like this. God is up there. God is up there because God is not here. If God is not here, he has to be there only. So this is how our thinking has been developing over the years. So, but in a class, in a but look at this. In India, in a school, the teacher asked all the small boys and girls, maybe in second, third, fourth class, teacher asked, where is God? Guess what happened? Many students, some students said, God is there. Many people lifted their hand like this. And many other people said, they pointed the hand to themselves. God is here. So now you can imagine. So you can imagine how many people who said this got converted to those who are saying God is there. So these are all the ideas we have. And so this Vedanta is a topic which tries to question these kinds of questions. What is this God? What is the relationship between God and myself? And what is this whole creation? All these topics suddenly start coming together. I never asked these questions before, but suddenly these things begin to attract me because it deals with myself. Deals with the self. The topic is me. It is not something out there. It is not biology. Biology means you have to look at bacteria, this and that, and many other things, life forms, etc. But biology doesn't teach me how did this life start. Biology may talk a lot about my body and bacteria and biological functions of the body, but it has no answers to the question, who am I? You can't go to a biologist, the world's topmost biologist, attending a conference, speaking at a world conference of biologists, annual world conference. You can't ask him, Professor, I have a question. Who am I? If you ask him, he will just look at you like this. He will say, if he's honest, he will say, I'm not the right person. So, Advaita is that journey. And we covered the topic of moksha last class, got briefly introduced to that, and where we didn't talk anything about heaven, etc. But moksha defined negatively based on our understanding of artha, kama, and dharma. So we said freedom from insecurity, freedom from being displeased. We need to understand more. We also said freedom from seeking itself. Perhaps freedom from seeking itself is moksha. We don't know. And we said in any moment of joy, whether it is a late night comedy show that you're looking at, a lot of people like to do that. Shut down everything, 9:30, 10 o'clock. This late night comedy is a purely American phenomenon. I learned it when I went to US. Everybody is studying, everybody is looking at, hey, David Letterman, David Letterman. Those days, Johnny Carson was very popular. Yeah, every season, every 5 years it changes. David Letterman is still there. He must be a pretty old man now, but he is still rocking. So late night show, because I've done so many things during the day, office work, stress, so many things are going on. Family is there. 10 o'clock, children are asleep, and I can afford to spend half an hour. Just turn on the mind, turn on the TV, and then this late night show starts, and I'm just smiling away, laughing away. So with all the stress and all the problems, how I can laugh? But I know that I can laugh, I can enjoy half an hour, and during that time, there is an absence of seeking. So sometimes here moksha in Advaita is defined as absence from seeking itself. So this kind of analysis of the Purushartha was done, and we said the type of problem we are looking at is of the type which is different from the normal types of problems where the solution is outside, the problem is inside. So we said perhaps this is a different one. What I am seeking is perhaps what I already am. I'm seeking for moksha outside, and perhaps that is a wrong approach. So these are the kinds of insights we got from the last class. And we also said that that idea, that kind of search that I'm used to in life, never will give me lasting security or pleasure. And perhaps since my nature itself can be this moksha, then knowledge perhaps is the only solution to my problem. And so we got a little introduction to the fact that moksha is based on knowing a fact that I don't know. And moksha is not based on a belief in something. Moksha is not based on an attitude. Attitude means what? They say you must have a good attitude towards life, towards anything. Good attitude means something is not going as good as you like, but then you tell yourself, life is not all a bed of roses. No, you have some thorns also. Like that, I must remind myself. And I accept the situation cheerfully. And if possible, they will say, convert an adversity to an opportunity. So these are all good ways to respond to life situations. But we said moksha is not of that category. It is not a belief in something. We will see more about it. So now we have to look at this desire a little more. I desire security. I desire pleasures. This desire is there, and desire is a big topic in our Shastra. It is so amazing, is it not? In the West, desire is worshipped. They say, whatever desire you have, you must satisfy it. That is how you make it. Desire for a home, desire for a job, desire for anything. And the more desires you have, the better off you are. And you must find a means to satisfy those desires. And often these desires are, I want this, I want that. And so quietly, this material culture is worshipped, where I have the right to desire for anything, and I must satisfy that desire. If I'm wealthy, I can satisfy more desires. If not, I have to reconcile myself with whatever I can have. And but here, desire itself is researched. Desire itself is analyzed, and so that's another uniqueness of our Hindu Dharma. So the question we are asking now is, I am desiring many things in life. The desire is for whose sake? I'm desiring many things in life. Everybody is desiring. So for whose sake I am desiring? Is there a purpose behind any desire? So for example, I have a house. I'm renting this apartment. I have a house, let's say, and I'm happy with this house. I am not looking for another house. I'm not looking for a house to stay because I already have a house to stay. I have a computer, it works. I have no desire for a computer. I have pens. I have a red color pen, blue color pen, I have a pencil. Everything works. I don't have a desire to buy a pen because everything works, and I think it will work for a few more weeks. So no desire for a pen. So when I know I have something, when I know I want something, and when I know I have something, I never have a desire for that thing. That's very obvious. That is one type. Next, I know an object called a cell phone. I have a cell phone, but I have heard this iPhone is a very good phone. I'm tired of this Android phone. I now have a desire for an iPhone. Because I need a phone. I don't want the type of phone I have. And I heard that this iPhone is a very good phone. I know it's going to be expensive, etc. And now I have a desire for that phone. So I know that object called iPhone. A lot of pictures are flashing in front of me when I log in to my computer or when I turn on the TV. So nobody can say I don't know an iPhone these days. They can only say I don't have an iPhone. Or they can say I don't have a desire for that iPhone, but I can now have a desire for this object which I know what it is about. Because some of my friends also have it, and now I have a desire to have this iPhone. Good. So this is second observation, which is that a known object can create a desire in me. Can create a desire in me. Third observation is an unknown object cannot create a desire in me. An unknown object cannot create a desire in me. Which Swamiji gives this example, and I want to share that same example. Suppose I say, do you know, do you have a desire for Gagabugai? Do you have a desire for Gagabugai? Now, what can you say? You can't say, no, I don't have a desire. You will now give me a benefit of doubt. Because you respect the person who speaks, and you will say, you'll give a benefit of doubt. You will say, Jayakumar ji cannot ask a question without a purpose. And so maybe I did not hear properly. So can you say, Jayakumar ji, can you repeat it once again? That's what you will say. That's called giving me benefit of doubt. You won't say no. You will say, you will give me a benefit of doubt. Maybe I didn't hear properly. All these things are going on. Can you repeat it? Then I'm going to repeat it now. Do you have a desire for Gaga Bugai? I make it very clear. Gaga Bugai. 4 times I say Gaga Bugai. Do you have a desire for Gaga Bugai? Then now it is very clear to you, all of you. I've heard it very well. Now you have to answer the question. No desire for Gaga Bugai. Why? Because I don't know this object called Gaga Bugai. Is it a drink? So I say, it tastes very well. You've not had this? Even in America, you've not had it? America, the land of plenty? No, I've not had it. You have to tell me more. Explain to me, Jaykumarji, what Gagabugai is. Then I will tell you if I tasted it, if I have it, if I like it. All that I can answer, no problem. So, an unknown object. See, Gagabugai can be a known object also. But you may call it differently, I am calling it differently. That is also possible. But an unknown object cannot cause a desire to you. But if I tell you, no, Gagabugai is that thing with which you move on the pointer on the computer, this one. Oh, that one. Yeah, that is so important in my life. 8 hours of the day I am holding it. And if that doesn't work, I cannot, my life doesn't proceed. Yeah. I worship it. Before I start the day, I just do this to all these Gagabugais. I do this Namaste and Namaskar and everything, and then I start my day. Yeah, so now you've given me an answer. But if the object is not there, there is no object called Gagabugai, then it is impossible for that object to create a like or a dislike in you. Okay, that is another observation. Then we can make another observation. There are many things we know in this world. There are many people we know in this world. All known objects, do they create a desire in me? That also doesn't happen. All known objects don't create a desire in me. We ask the children, hey, how many planets are there? The child has just come back from school. Yes, our teacher taught me this. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Pluto. So I know so many planets. But when I hear Pluto, It doesn't create any big desire in me. It doesn't it doesn't create a desire. I must fly to Pluto. That desire I don't have. No desire, no object, no desire. Even at home, there are many known objects. Some objects are desired by my wife or husband or my children. I don't have a desire for it. Sweets are there. The same two. There are two children at home. One child loves sweets. The other child says, "Mom, take it away from me. Don't show it to me also." So same father, same mother, brother, sister. One person likes, other person doesn't like. Same object, known object. All known objects do not create a desire in me. Definitely many known things like migraine headache. Nobody says I like migraine. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, I've had a great day. For so many days, I've not visited the doctor in the last so many months. I wish I wish I have a migraine headache today. Nobody says that. I know scorpions. I know all these objects. Nobody says I love to have a scorpion at home. So many known objects are there. They don't create a desire in me. Whether the object is dangerous to humans in general or not, they don't create a desire in me. If I'm bored, no bald person can be attracted by a shampoo advertisement. No desire. Shampoo is well known. All these beautiful images they show in TV. I don't know why they show women always. Hey, men also need shampoo. Why you always show ladies? Okay, some masala hai wahan par. So no desire. Bald person, no attraction possible. He can't look at somebody in that advertisement and say, "Oh, she looks good, so I'm going to use shampoo." He can't say that also. So no desire for shampoo. So all known objects also don't create a desire in me. And of course, another observation we can make: I may like something at some time, and after some time I lose my fancy for that object. As children, we all liked so many toys. A child, not how a child cannot like a balloon. And I went to a function 2 days ago, and a birthday party. They had invited me, so all decorated with balloons, and children are all playing with balloons. I didn't see any men or women playing with balloons. Why? Because they have grown out of the desire for balloons. At one time, I was also like that. Now I don't look at a balloon and say, "Wow, oh, so many balloons! Wow, this is amazing." I didn't see anybody saying that. Neither did I have that kind of a response. But I grew out of that desire. And even the child, at the end of the function, everybody's leaving, and the balloons were being taken out. And one child burst the balloon somehow. I think poked it with the finger. And some other child saw that, and I saw it. And it went and hit the balloon, and the balloon burst. See, interesting psychology. In the beginning of the function, no child was bursting balloons. But at the end of the function, they realized we're all leaving this place. We can't carry all these balloons home. And so let's just burst it off. Just another fun. So look at this desire, how it works. It is so interesting to watch all this. So these observations we make about desire gives an idea that perhaps no object has that capacity to create a like or a dislike in me. And perhaps there is something in me that I need to look at. So there is a purpose. Perhaps it is for my sake alone that I desire. I cannot desire a mouse for the sake of the mouse. The mouse doesn't care whether I like it or not, don't like it, whether I buy it or don't buy it from the store. I look at all these things in the store and then I spend half an hour and then I leave without buying anything. Nobody complains except the owner of these objects. He or she may be disappointed. Especially in India, you go to a cloth store, saris, or you can buy a pant piece or a shirt piece, and they will just throw all these things like this. So nice to see on the table, like this. Next sari, they'll throw like this. Yes. Keep on doing this. They'll keep on doing this, and it's also nice to see. And finally, after 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you say, "No, I don't like any of this," and you walk away. Sometimes I feel a little guilty. It's been a long time since I did it, but I feel a little guilty. You make this fellow; he has to now fold all these things and put it back. I used to wonder, what kind of a job this is. So nobody, the objects don't complain. Look at this sari doesn't say, look at me, I showed myself, and no, you are just leaving me like this. No, no such problem. So for anybody's sake, I don't have a desire. But somebody says, no, Jayakumarji, that's not right. I live. I do things for the sake of my wife. I do things for the sake of my son. I do things for the sake of my daughter, for my wife, husband, my parents, of course. So there I do a lot of things for their sake. I don't do it for my sake. So we have to look into that idea. We have to look into that idea whether I'm really doing it for somebody else's sake or I'm doing it for my sake. So here there is a story, beautiful story. There is a king. Some of you know this story. Probably if you've listened to Vedanta, they quote this story often. There is a king. His name is Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya. Not in the recent, 1,000 years. This is quoted by the Upanishads, so it must be many thousands of years old. And they say he had two wives, Katyayani and Maitreyi. He had two wives, Katyayani and Maitreyi. And very happy king. Happy kingdom, people are happy, everybody is happy. So one fine day, he comes, he tells his wives, hey Katyayani, Maitreyi, I have decided to leave all this. I have decided to be with myself for a while. I don't think he said for a while also. That I have decided to leave all this and be with myself. And I have decided to split the kingdom equally into two. And each of you can take it. So Katyayani says, is that right? Okay, fine. I will give the half. I will take care of that. Maitreyi looks at this situation and she asks Yajnavalkya. She says, wait a minute. Says, wait a minute. You are saying that you're going to give up this entire kingdom? You have a huge kingdom. The size, nobody can measure the size of this kingdom, extending from this end of the earth to that end. You have no rivals. If you have many rivals and you're constantly fighting, okay, I can understand. I'm tired of this stuff. No rivals. People are all happy. Not like some countries where there's famine all the time. There's no water, there's no food, people are dying. Not like that. People are happy. Family is happy. Children are happy. It's not like, oh, these two wives, I made a big mistake. I didn't realize even one wife is hard to deal with. I now have two wives, two problems. Not that problem also. Both wives are happy. No complaints from the wives. Nothing. You're saying that you're going to leave this. This is a dream for everybody. You're going to give up all this? Yajnavalkya says, yes, we're going to give up. Don't think I'm going to go and then I'm going to say, oh my God, I made a mistake. Phone karo, I'm going to come back. Please send me all the horses and elephants. I want to take me back. No, I'm going to walk and I'm going to leave. Then Maitreyi asks another question. She says, look, you got so much happiness from this. And you're saying you're going to give up all this and go somewhere. Then it must be true that wherever you're going, whatever you're seeking, I don't know what that is, that must give you even more joy than what you're getting from here. Is that correct? She asks. Look at this question. Then Yajnavalkya says, Are Maitreyi, Are, in fact, it is a word from the Upanishad. Are, he says. Are means, oh beloved Maitreyi. Honey, they say honey and all that in America. In India, I don't know what they say. They have so many different words, I suppose, between people who love each other very much. But in America, I've heard the word honey. So, hey honey, you have spoken very good words. You have spoken so nicely. You have spoken wisely also. Yes, what you guessed is correct. What I am going after is no less than what I have now. Maitreyi asked, you mean to say that you're going to get all this wealth you have? What you're going to get, the happiness is going to be more than the happiness that this wealth is going to give you? Yajnavalkya says, Are Maitreyi, Vittena Asha Nasti. He doesn't even say, no, this wealth cannot give me that much happiness. He uses a strong word called Asha. He says, there is no hope of any amount of wealth giving you whatever happiness you're seeking. This is what the Upanishad Vakyam. Upanishad Vakyam means there is nothing said outside the greater than what is said in the Upanishad. Vittena Asha Nasti. So don't entertain any hope. That's what he says. This king who is supposed to inspire people and who is supposed to create more kings, and this fellow says like this. So then she asks him, is that true? She doesn't give up. He says, okay, tell me what this is. Tell me more. You teach me what this is all about. This is what she says. And Yajnavalkya is so happy now. He didn't say, look, ladies, I have something wonderful to tell you. Listen. No, he didn't say all that. He says, I'm walking off. So now she asks him, you please teach me. So that's another way of the Upanishad to tell us that this knowledge can be obtained only when you ask for it. You can't, people won't knock on your door and say, see, I know Vedanta. I, I know a lot of things that you must know. Please study, please learn all this. Nobody says that. Only the Jehovah's Witness will knock on your door. He says, I know something, I have some good news. I have some good news, they say. Good news? Acha? I've been waiting for some good news. What is that? I have some good news. So that fellow can say all this nonsense. I have good news and this and that. The story continues. I also told him, after he gave me a big story lecture, and I told him, I also have some good news. What is that? I told him, hey, the good news is Jesus is not there. You are Jesus. This fellow ran away from this house. He says, my God, I can't deal with this fellow. So we all need to learn all these things. These days, we need to get a little smarter. So, good news. So, this Upanishad is saying that this knowledge cannot be given like this good news business. Knowledge can happen only when there is a desire for this knowledge for that person. And so this Guru Shishya Parampara and all is there. So Maitri asked for this knowledge very clearly. She said, she is not vague. She's already asked some questions showing that she has understood that there is something. She has understood the finite nature of everything she has. All people are there around her, ready. Hey, if she says 10 people will come running, she knows that all this is okay, good, great. I'm blessed to have all this. But there is something more than that. She knows it. So now she's ready to ask and she's ready to learn. So Yajnavalkya is teaching her. And he starts. And he is asking this question about for whose sake am I having karma? Am I having a desire? So he gives a big list. He asks, hey, you love your husband, do you? Yes, I love my husband. For whose sake do you love the husband? Do you love your husband for the husband's sake? Or do you love the husband for your own sake? He says, Nava are vittasya kama, nava are patyuh kamaya patih priyam bhavati. He says, no, you don't love the husband for the sake of the husband. You love the husband because loving the husband makes you happy. I love my husband because he makes me happy. This is what simple statement he makes. Navare patih kamaya patih priyam bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya patih priyo bhavati. He says. Atmanastu kamaya. For the sake of myself, I love my wife. I love my husband. Then he gives the next statement. Navare jayaya kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Jaya means wife. I don't love my wife for the sake of my wife. I love my wife for my own sake. Atmanastu kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Okay, husband and wife have been covered. And he keeps going. You love all this wealth, you say? This kingdom? This vast kingdom that you talked about? Which goes from this end, from Uzbekistan all the way to Indonesia, it goes. That kingdom, you say you love? All this real estate, today nobody can match that kind of real estate you have. For whose sake do you love this real estate? Nava are vittasya kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. This wealth You don't love for the sake of the wealth. Atmanastu kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. You love the wealth because the wealth pleases you. Like this, he gives a big list. Nava are Chatrasya kamaya kshatram priyam bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya kshatram priyam bhavati. Kshatram means king. Well, I say we have a great prime minister. We have a great president. Never in history have we seen this kind of a prime minister. I love him. If I say I don't love him for his own sake, I love him for my sake. Atmanastur Kamaya Kshatram Priyam Bhavati. He goes a big list. It is very obvious now. If I say I love my wife or my husband, then why do I go to the court, both of us go to the court sometime, ready to file the papers? What happened? Obviously now, I failed to please her and she fails to please me. That is why we are ready to go separate, go our own ways. So now it is very obvious that it is not enough. Just a wife cannot please me, a husband cannot please me. That is dynamic. And so, as long as I am pleased, I love that thing that pleases me. Finally, at the end, Yajnavalkya says, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything in this world, you say, I like it. If you say, dash, like it. I like this, fill up the blanks. Sarvam priyam bhavati atmanastu kamaya. For my own sake, I like whoever I like. I love whoever I love. So, very bold statement. And incidentally, when I knew nothing about Upanishads, when I knew nothing about any of this Dharma, when I sat in a class, Swamiji's class in 96, this is the topic he was talking about. Swamiji was talking about Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Know nothing about what this Upanishad is. And Swamiji started with the story. And if you all know Swamiji, you know what he does. And this was like a big eye opener for me. And so that is what kind of helped me study this topic further. So, what we are concluding here is that for whose purpose is any desire that I have? And it is clear that, or it should be clear that any desire I have for a particular object is not for the sake of the object, it is for my own sake. So that understanding helps me. Even now it helps me if I understand this, even now it will help me because I won't go around telling people, I won't go around telling my spouse, hey look, I did so much for you. What are you doing for me? This is a dangerous statement to make in a home. You tell your children, I did all this, I worked so hard for you. I taught you, I took you to college. Now what are you doing? You're not even calling me. Once a year you're calling me or you're visiting me. This kind of statements which don't help any relationship, I won't make, because Shastram says very clearly, hey, I love anybody for my own sake, not for somebody else's sake. So for the sake of my son, for the sake of my daughter, all these statements I won't make anymore. Even without understanding Vedanta completely, even with this limited understanding, it helps me. So that is to be understood, that behind every desire, the, the purpose is very clear. The end game is me. Whatever I'm doing for my sake only. If I say I'm doing a lot of seva to people, to young people, to poor people, I'm teaching so many things. If I say, Mister, I'm teaching so many things because that is what makes me happy. That is all we can say. That is the correct statement, objective statement. I'm sacrificing my life for other people. All these funny ideas we don't say anymore. That is not true because it is not true anymore. On the surface, it looks like that. But reality is, I do what I love to do. That is a good statement to make. I do what I love to do is a great statement to make. And we leave it at that. So, so we have learned that moksha is defined in a negative way: freedom from insecurity, freedom from being displeased. Then we talked a little bit about this idea of desire, and desire being centered on myself. I am the I am the center of this world of likes and dislikes that I've created. I am the center of this world. Everything happens for my sake, or I make sure things happen for my sake. Outside the house, I do the same thing. Inside the house, I do the same thing. And okay, the more we do for other people, others, it's better. That's why family life is a great thing. That is the first time I begin to actually give up a lot of things. I give up sleep for the sake of my children. All that comes out. So that is good. That is good. But in Vedanta, we are analyzing even that and saying that every desire has a purpose, and the purpose is the self. Elsewhere, the Shastram says, Unmattopi na pravartate. We go out in the street sometimes, or we may have some family members too, who just talk whenever they want to talk. In the street, they will just, he's talking and he's laughing at himself. Yeah, boy, there. He'll keep on talking continuously. Sometimes you can understand what he says, sometimes you can't understand what he says. But he's smiling, he's laughing. He walks, he crosses the road. Then again, he looks at people and he laughs. He looks at up and he says something. It looks as though there is no purpose in what he does. Absolutely no purpose. Why would anybody go in the street and keep on laughing? Keep on talking to themselves? Why? The Shastram says, even that fellow, whatever he says, whatever he does not say, there is a purpose behind it. And Atmanastu Kamaya eva, he does whatever he does. Even that person. So we want to appreciate here that Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. Whatever I say I love, it is for my sake. And by the same token, if I say I don't like these things, if I say I don't like mosquitoes, so far nobody has told me I love mosquitoes. If I say I don't like mosquitoes, I mean, in India you must see, of course US also, the amount of time we spend keeping all the windows either closed or this net lawn, they say, net lawn. Net lawn must be working properly. Doors are there, doors must be either closed or we must have this jali door, net lawn door must be there. There is no house without these things these days. So I hate mosquitoes. But when I say I hate mosquitoes, we must understand that mosquitoes don't please me. They hurt me. Therefore, I hate mosquitoes. Otherwise, a child doesn't know what a mosquito is. A child doesn't know what a rat is. A child doesn't know what a cockroach is. A child may look at a cockroach and it will look at mom. Because the child doesn't know this stuff. It knows so many things. It knows milk, it knows apple, it knows sweets, it knows all these things. It knows all these toys. But for the first time, it is seeing a cockroach. and it doesn't know how to respond. It doesn't know how to respond. So it safely looks. It looks for mom. Looks at mom. What to do? How should I respond? No words are said, but that's what it's looking for. If the mom says, "Oh, come on, let's go," and lifts the baby, then the baby learns. Oh, if I see a mosquito, I must run away. So this is how we all this fear complex and all we learn like this. Until see, look at the child didn't run away and all that. It is looking at somebody to see how I should respond to this. Because it's going running away, it's going like this. Cockroaches. I go to the cockroach runs this way. So I can't even catch it, and it's also new to me. Or if the mother says, "Okay, baby, come, just come here," and deals with the cockroach in a very mature way, then the child also will learn that kind of response. It won't panic. Otherwise, panic. Every time something new happens, panic ho jata hai. But. So this child is also learning from the mother and from the father. Or the mother says, "Oh my God, call daddy." So, "Oh my God, call daddy" means the child learns this. Oh, I see. If these kinds of problems happen, we have to call somebody bigger. And dad comes. Dad comes and he says, "Arey baap re baap, police ko bulao." Call the police. If he says call 911, then the child definitely, now it is clear to the child, this is a risky situation. Cockroach means you have to run for your life. So look at everything the child learns is all coming from there. Upar se aata hai sab. So so that's why this parenting is such a great thing and such an important thing actually for the child. Really, so many things the child learns comes from the parents. For the child, parents are gods. That's it. Whatever they say is satyam. However they respond is the way to respond. So having good parents is a big blessing. And so we will stop here now. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. For my sake alone, I like anything I like. And for my sake alone, I can say I dislike something or I hate something, etc. All these statements are centered on myself. So we'll stop with that. So was everybody able to hear everything properly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I've actually unmuted everyone. I think that's creating a request. All right. So last time there were some questions. Harprasad ji, I think you had a question.
Yes.
So I've unmuted you. Go ahead.
What is the difference in the words Brahma and Brahman?
Yeah. So we use Brahmaji is a word, the creator. Srishtikarta we say Brahmaji. Brahma is the creator of this world, we say. That is one Brahma. Then we use this word Brahman and Brahma. For this topic we are studying, Brahma Tattvam, Atma Tattvam. What is the truth of this world? And our Shastram says Brahman. It uses the word Brahman. So obviously these are referring to two different things. Number one, Brahmaji is different. That particular Chaturmukha Brahma, the person whom we attribute, the entity whom we attribute this creation to, who has a particular form, that is Brahmaji. To be clear, we say Brahmaji instead of just leaving it at Brahma. And for this Sarvavyapi Atma Tattvam, we say Brahman or Brahma. So Just that's the difference, basic difference between these two. But like linguistically, if somebody is interested in grammar, the root for both words is the same root, called Brahman is the root for both these words. But one Brahman is Pullinga, masculine gender. The Brahmaji is masculine gender. The other Brahma, which also comes from the same root, is neuter gender. Neuter. Like karma. We say karma. Karma is neuter gender. So then karman is the root, and from karman you get karma. Like that, from Brahman you get Brahma. And so for that Atma Tattvam we synonymously say Brahma or Brahman. Brahma is different masculine gender. Okay?
It is confusing though in the Vedanta text when they use the word Brahma and Brahman meaning exactly the same. Why do they use these two different words?
Yeah, so in Vedanta, generally when we say Brahma, I think we can safely say it does not mean Brahmaji.
Oh, it's
Okay?
not, how about you, when they say Parabrahma, it is referring to Brahman.
Yeah, Parabrahman, Brahman, Brahma, all these words are synonymous. There is no need to, especially in Vedanta, if you say the context of Vedanta, it means the same entity. It doesn't refer to anything other than Atma. Anything other than the truth that is being inquired into. So I would say, Haraprasadji, there should be no reason for confusion if the topic is Vedanta. If you say, I don't know what the topic is that this text is talking about, then yes, then in order to interpret that word Brahma, you must know what is the topic of this text. Is this a poetry? Is this some kind of Purana? If it is a Purana, most likely that Brahma means Brahmaji. Most likely there is a war going on between the Devas and the Asuras. And so they are running to Vishnu. And Vishnu says, Brahma ko jao, Brahma ko jaake pucho, upay deka. He will give you a solution. So maybe it means that Brahmaji. So that's the way we look at it, Haraprasad. Okay?
All right.
Okay. Sajeev.
Yeah. Jayakumarji, the Atmanastu Kamaya, Sarvam Priyam Bhavadi. So everybody does anything for their own sake, or what pleases them is what everybody does. So what about people who are depressed or sad, or that's not something they want to do, right? Like that's something that they want to get out of. So why are they hanging on to it, or like how do they so if what pleases one is what one naturally pursues, then shouldn't it be naturally happening for them to come out of the sadness? Does it make sense, like what I'm asking, or should I?
Yeah. So your question is, I'm muted you now. So your question is that why a depressed person cannot choose to come out of their sadness if they know that whatever they are doing is for their sake. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
See, forget depressed people. Let's look at ordinary so-called non-depressed people. Even a non-depressed person, I don't know whether they can come out of their sadness. If a non-depressed person could come out of their sadness, then we should all learn what that trick is. So this coming out of sadness, I think it's a tough business. I don't think we were ever taught how to come out of sadness. So I think, and depression is a disease also. It's a disease. It's an illness. So it has various ways we have various ways to deal with depression depending on the source of depression. But and therefore we don't. In fact, a depressed person needs a lot more help than an average person. I can be sad. You all can be sad. We all have been sad. Sometimes the sadness seems to linger for a long time. And so, how come that person who is quote unquote not clinically depressed, how come that person becomes sad? So I think, see, these emotions that are there, anger, jealousy, sadness, these are all emotions which victimize us. You look at anger. When I'm seized by anger, then nobody can stop me. Any words can come out of my mouth. I can throw anything anywhere. Anything can happen. Why will a person throw an object at home at their loved one? Why? Because this buddhi is gone. Anger has taken over me. And that's it. All this degree in knowledge and common sense, everything I have here present is as though I don't have it anymore. So even these emotions like anger and all that, I don't seem to have a say over. So depression and all is an element, and that's an entirely different thing. And so maybe you can ask the question in a different way.
Yeah. Just can I? Let's forget depression. Like for example, I'm sad for something, and I want to get out of it. I know that it is not the right thing to do, but still I am lingering on with that thought. Am I doing that because it pleases me, or in some way or other? I don't know. So sometimes, like when you are in a situation when we are thinking about something or something that saddens you, even though you know that you don't want to be, you want to get out of it, you're not able to. So I'm just asking, in a subconscious level, are we somehow finding some pleasure in being sad? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, correct. So see, this is also a good question, which is, can I be happy being sad?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm.
See, if I can be happy being sad, then we would never complain of sadness. If I say I'm very happy, even though I'm sad now, I'm okay. If I say, that's actually a wrong statement, it appears, because happiness and sadness are opposites. When it is dark, there is no brightness. When it is bright, there is no darkness. So you can't say it is both bright and dark, unless you are referring to some twilight and it is somewhat bright, somewhat okay. Some brightness is there, some darkness is there. But sadness seems to be real for me, as real as happiness. And I have the experience of happiness. Every human being has the experience of happiness. And every human being has the experience of sadness. So these two are two different emotions that are very real to me. And I also know that I like to be happy. And I also know that this so-called sadness, I don't want. I don't want sadness to come near me at all. And I will do whatever it takes to keep sadness away and to invite happiness to me. But when sadness comes, see, this is not based on human will. Whatever you say applies only to where human will applies. Human will applies. If there is a mosquito, I have the will to go after it. I can do that. Because I can't sleep with 5 mosquitoes in this. One mosquito is enough, I can't sleep. Okay. So I have the will to take care of it. So I may be able to take care of the source of my discomfort, but in some cases I can't take care of the source of that sadness. Sadness itself cannot be removed unless I remove the source of the sadness. And so two things. One is I have to deal with the source of the sadness, which in many cases I know. I lost my iPhone, therefore I'm sad. Now I can't do anything about it, or I can go look for it. All these things happen because if I get back my iPhone, if I call the shop where I went, I call him and say, "Hey, do you have my phone with me?" "Yes, sir, it's here." I'm very happy now. Suddenly I'm happy. Last week it happened. I've never left my phone anywhere in the last so many years. And I come home and my phone is not with me. And if the cell phone is not with you, you can imagine. And I sat down, I said, "My God, what happened?" And so I was thinking, I went to the driver's license bureau. Did I leave it there? Or I put it in my bag. On the way, I may have dropped it in the two-wheeler as I was riding. Then I came here, went to the shoe store, got a pair of chappals. I could have left it there. All these, all these thoughts were going on. I can be panicking also. Obviously, I wasn't very happy during that time. So, my goal is to remove that sadness, and I'm thinking of ways to remove that sadness. So that is the way that is the only way I know how to remove sadness. And so I can never say I'm happy being sad. That is not possible because they are two different things. At least for now, we're going to say they are two different things. And all I know is what I like. I like happiness. I don't like sadness. This is all I know. And I know some ways to deal with all these things. And definitely a depressed person, I don't think your question was related to the clinical aspect of it. But definitely, even a normal person cannot deal with sadness. And so a depressed person, how they can. Okay.
Thanks.
So there is a comment here from Mahesh ji. And he says, to come out of sadness, people say you should look at things as half full rather than half empty. In other words, be content. Okay. So we can conduct a course on sadness management. You know, so a lot of courses are there on how to manage all this. Yeah, these are all ways to manage. These are all ways to think, because oftentimes it's what I think that results in sadness. I went to the temple yesterday. I think yesterday I was at the temple. When I came out, my bag, a small bag I had with 10,000 rupees, was gone. It's gone. Period. And I searched for it. I went inside. I crowded. There's no place. I told some people, "Hey, can you move a little bit? Did you find a black pouch?" All that I said. And they moved a little bit. There's no place to move also. So tried something for 5 minutes, and then I came out. I have to go. We have to go other places and all that. I don't have all the time to sit for it. And I told myself, this Vaidiswaran, this Shiva, told me, "Hey Jaykumar, it's been 3 years since you returned from America. You have not bothered to visit me even once. So I'm going to make sure you remember me all your life." This is why I told myself, and I told others also the same. And I moved on. So attitude, I suppose Mahesh ji is saying attitude. Yeah, so attitude. I don't know what happened, what is behind this, why did they take all this analysis I can do. And I can worry. Fortunately I can, it's not like the sky has fallen down. Or I can keep on worrying about it. 10,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. And I can keep on worrying about it also. So yeah, sometimes attitude helps a lot. In fact, attitude is so important for us. And once we have that attitude, then Vedanta becomes even easier for us. If we don't have that attitude, then all these statements Vedanta makes, you know what it says? Your nature is Ananda, it says. How I am going to understand it? My nature is Ananda means what? Then why am I sad? I will ask. Next question from the student is going to be, why am I sad? Okay, तो उसको तो कैसा बोल सकेंगे? What kind of answer can we give? So we have to say, at some point we have to say, this sadness is as though, happiness also is as though we have to come to that point. So for that I must be relatively able to manage my sadness. Relatively, I must be mature enough to say, you know what, this sadness, I am taking it too seriously. This happiness also, I am taking it too seriously. This idea I must have, correct? I must have. So that is what is required for Vedanta. So we will study it more sometime later also. So Chetan, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to unmute you. Let's see where you are. Okay, there you are. Okay. So you are unmuted, are you? I don't see an option to mute or unmute you. I don't know why. I can't hear you, and I can't unmute you also. I don't know why. Wait a minute. Yeah, you know what? It's amazing. We can't hear you, and man, you must have a fancy computer. Ah, there you go. Okay. Now I will unmute you. Okay, now I unmuted you. Whatever you did, just remember that.
Yes. Sorry, this is the first time I'm attending it. I just couldn't do it. I've been traveling quite a bit, but happy to be here. Thank you.
Good to see you. Yeah. So go ahead and ask your question, Jane.
So the question is that I think the other gentleman was asking the questions. I kind of interpreted differently. The question here is more about we sometimes perform things which we are not necessarily happy about. But it could be because of some duties. It could be because that is what we are required to do it. And so my question is that, does it always mean that we move towards the path of happiness, or we change our attitude, or we change our mindset towards what makes us happy?
Okay. So even though sometimes we see people doing things that are detrimental to themselves, to others, that a mature person will say, no, don't do this. Children are there, often we say, don't run, don't cross the road. You know, like this, you just pull the child. All these things we have seen. And sometimes adult bodies, there are children also. We have seen all that. So yeah, so we seem to see people doing things which aren't going to get them what they want, get them happiness. Of course, there is suicide, which, how can suicide bring me happiness? All these things we see. So, but one thing is there, despite all these observations, no human being can say, I don't want happiness. What we can say is, this person is confused. This person doesn't know what is the result of drinking alcohol every day, hard liquor. This person doesn't know. He thinks he's happy. He thinks, hey, that is the only time I'm happy, my dear. What are you saying? You're taking away that period of happiness from me? He says. You try to argue with me if I say something like that. So he's obviously looking for the happiness. He's not looking for sadness. The fellow who commits suicide, okay, this could be probably the worst extreme example of all. Hey, how come there is suicides happening? Very clear. It's actually very clear that even this person wants happiness. Because he says, I know of no way to get rid of this sorrow. I know of no way. I've tried every means and I have given up. The only means I know to get rid of the sorrow is to get rid of my life. Okay? That's that person's thinking. So even that person wants happiness only. And by putting an end to this life of sorrow, so even that person wants happiness. So no human being can say, I don't want happiness. And perhaps we can say we are kind of stuck. We are trapped in certain ways of thinking. We are trapped in our own ways. We are all limited in our knowledge. So there are certain things we know how to do well. And if those don't help us, we try some other things. And after a point, some of us are trapped. Depression. Depression is a sense of trap. I am vulnerable and I am helpless. And then depression. Then nobody else is there to help me. More depression. Now I'm sure that nobody can help me and I have no way out. That's it. It's I'm sure they have these terminologies, deep depression. And so these things happen. So a depressed person cannot be expected to come out of it by themselves. And yeah, these are good questions. And but I think we can say that everybody is seeking the same thing. And some of them seem to seek things that won't result in happiness, but that is just a problem in the thinking. But it is not the fact that they are purposely seeking to destroy or to hurt themselves. Even though it appears many times, many actions they hurt, they beat themselves. With, all the physical abuse is all there, happening in families and all. Why? Why will a father want to beat their daughter? Beat black and blue. Why? No father wants to do that. But yet that happens. So that shows there is so much pain that has to be addressed. So perhaps we'll have some chance to talk about it. Yeah, Moni.
I think happiness also sometimes the way we were talking about situations is we look at short-term happiness. It might make somebody feel happy for short term, but it is detrimental to that person in long term. But at that time, that person doesn't understand that. For that temporary time, like alcoholism, or even for it is escapism. It's a form of escapism. They think that they will be happy, and they might be for a short time, but eventually, in a long term, it doesn't work out.
Correct. Definitely. So we are very, very familiar with that. And, and sometimes, even when we think we are sure, some people what they'll do is they will ask somebody who's mature, somebody who's gone through life and say, this is what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of starting this business. What do you think? They will say. Because even though the person knows very qualified, he has the right qualifications to run a business, we never know, in my situation, should I start a business now or not? Somebody who knows, sometimes we'll go to our Swamiji and say, Swamiji, I want to give up my job and start a business. And right or wrong? No depression issue, nothing, right? This is just a simple question. I like to start a business. And so we don't know. That person is mature enough to say, hey, I can start a business, but it is anybody's guess how long this business will last. And so is it for me and all? Good questions are there. So yeah,
And I
yes,
agree with the fact that depression is, the major depression that we talk about is a chemical imbalance. I mean, that you cannot classify it as, like, some of the causes of depression are secondary, where suppose somebody dies and they go into depression, or somebody has lost a job and they go into depression. Those things, they can come out easily on their own if they want to, and it takes time. Sometimes it might not. They might need help too. But the major depression that we talk about in medical community is where they do have chemical imbalance. They need treatment and they need psychotherapy and a lot of assistance from the community and the family as a whole.
absolutely. Very big topic. Okay, Sundarji, I think
Adding to Miss Mohi Rao's thing, that is, in the temporary period where we feel we're going to be happy, but in the that is after being say okay, after doing this stuff we're happy, then after finishing that, then we say, oh my god, why did I do it? I'm unhappy now. That is the law. We know that it's bad, but we do it in that kshanam, and the kshanathala you're doing stuff. How do you avoid that? That's what I think Ms. Mohini Rao was saying, that in that small period, you say, let's do it. Then after doing it, then you feel, oh my God, why did I do it? How do you avoid that?
How do you avoid that? It's $1 million question, Sundar. If I knew that, I would be giving corporate talks on this and that and make some money out of it. So yeah, so that's why we have our life we lead and culture, and we try to invoke our ancestors, what they learned, and parenting is there, and somehow value driven life helps, I suppose, in all these things. Now, how can a person say, move away from instant gratification to something bigger? For that person's vision has to be big. Vision has to be so big that I am not just attracted by things and I don't fall for things. So yeah, that's I suppose that's a big topic in itself. But here what we are saying is Vedanta, of course, will help. Once the person is mature enough, then Vedanta will take us all the way, no stopping. So, okay, so Mahesh ji is saying one should respond rather than react. Take a moment to think what you are about to do, etc. Yeah, so there are ways to manage all that. Responding versus reaction, versus reacting, etc. So I don't want to get into that because that's a big topic, and so we want to do one more thing here. Any people new like Chetan and Mahesh, I think they have not introduced themselves. The first class we spent a lot of time. We went around and introduced each other. So let's Mahesh, Mahesh, if you can hear us, can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jay Kumarji. My name is Mahesh Subramaniam. I am from Houston. I came to know Jay Kumar through a Sanskrit class in Houston in Chandra's and Hema's house. I think that's where I came to meet. And when he was with Lyndale, we met a couple of times in downtown. So yeah, a few times I met him, and then after he moved to Ohio, I believe, right? He moved to Ohio, and I lost kind of touch. I am an oil and gas engineer. I've been with in Houston for the last 28 years. I learned Sanskrit in school, so that's where my interest is. And then I don't know anything about Vedanta or any other thing. So when this information came, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to understand.
Thanks, Mahesh. Good to see you. It's been a long time. I think at least 10 plus years since we met or we saw each other.
Yeah, I think it was 2011 or something.
Okay. Yeah, in
10 or 11, something like that.
During lunch.
Yeah.
At the tunnel or something like that.
Right.
Nice to have you. So, Chetan, a good friend Chetan has joined after a long time. We've seen him.
Yes, namaste. I'm Chetan. I'm also from Houston now. Moved in Houston 5 years ago. I lived in New Jersey for many years before that. I have a wife and 2 kids, and both of them are in college now. Been actually going to Swamiji's ashram since last 15, 20 years now. Lately, I haven't been going a whole lot because I moved to Houston now. And I got introduced to Jay Kumarji with Swami P in one of the places where in ashram we met, and then certainly got connected in Houston for a very short time.
Tattvabodha.
Mojaji, yeah. And I certainly am not expert in any of these things. I don't know Vedanta a whole lot, but certainly do follow certain books and try to read as much as possible. So happy to join you folks.
Cool. Good to see you. And Chetan, I think some of this is going to be basic for you. You've been listening somehow. You've been in touch with it for a long time. So, as I told class initially, that the first few classes before we get into this text, it's going to be an introduction to Vedanta, because there are many in the class who have absolutely no exposure. So we will build this gradually, and
sure.
With Sanjeev and all that, many of you have studied Vedanta for many years. So just a caution that it's going to be basic for a while until everybody gets on the same page.
Thank you.
Anybody else who has not introduced themselves? Okay, good. Yeah, Kedarnath.
Hi, Jaykumarji.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Kedarnath Shastri. I work in Pune as a software engineer. So I'm basically from Karnataka, Bidar. So I'm been here for more than 7 years in Pune. So my exposure to Vedanta is from my childhood, because being born in a Orthodox family, so being exposed to the Vedanta from my childhood. My great grandfather was a Sanskrit scholar, and also fortunate enough to get exposed to the Dvaita Vedanta as well, with the Advaita Vedanta. So got to know you from my Facebook friend Nitin Sridhar. He has shared the thing that you're going to conduct the Tattvabodha class. So I registered there. Wanted to learn systematically, because I don't have the systematic learning on the Vedanta, just introduction to all those concepts. Thank you.
Yeah. Very nice. So, so have you been living in Pune, born and brought up in Pune, or how is it?
I was born in Hyderabad, brought up in Karnataka, that is Bidar, and working in Pune.
Okay. Oh, yeah, working in Pune. So you are from a traditional Kannadiga family, or how is it?
I'm a traditional Marathi family.
Marathi family. Okay. So finally, you're back in the state where they speak your mother tongue. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Any? I think Prasad. Prasad is not. Yeah.
Yeah, Jaykumar, sorry. Well, I am Prasad Gurujala. I live in Houston. And
Prasad, we can't see you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, now I can see. Can you see now? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's good that there are many Houstonians. I live in Houston. I've been here for the last 18 years in Houston, and I met Jaykumarji incidentally in one of the Sanskrit class only. It was back in 2006 or 7, around that time. And since then, we have been working together on many projects in Houston. We still work on different projects here. I'm actually a ERP consultant working here in IT industry. And regarding Vedanta, yes, I got interested in this, I can say mostly after associating with Jaykumarji mostly. And we had Gita classes here running for a long time till he left US. Even though he was in Columbus, Ohio, we still continued, but when he left US, that's when he could not carry on the Gita classes, but we are doing here with assistance from him. Also that we have an organization here through which we do a lot of service, particularly with respect to serving the nation, India. And Vedanta, yes, I listened to a lot of, I actually attended with Pratyek Bodhananda Swamiji when he visited Houston. He carried the I think Gita classes, I believe, yeah. And I listened to many discourses from Swami Paripurnandaji and another Swami whom I'm from Ramakrishna Mission, actually. So there are many very nice videos from Swamiji from Ramakrishna Mission. So I hear a lot of those in Vedantic, like no mind, what is no mind, things like that. It's very interesting if you're all interested. So yeah, so I had association with Vedanta through several classes. So that's about me. And it's very nice joining you all. And this is the first time I'm meeting you all. Very happy to meet you all.
Thanks, Prasadji. Yeah, Prasadji, there's a lot of seva, and we've studied together. And yeah, Swami Paripurnandaji recently has been in the news. He's a great teacher, but for all the seva he's doing, yesterday he was on the news. He was put under house arrest in Hyderabad. He got released afterwards. But we are closely following on that. Yeah. Any other questions, introductions? I think we got introduced to everybody pretty much. Yeah. Good. So we'll stop now. We'll pause with a prayer. Om Swasti Prajaabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahisha Gobhammanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasyashalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitah Brahmanas Santu Nirbhayaः Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkhabhagavate Asato Ma Gamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om